next speaker, having no questions for Dr. Michael Reschke at the moment. So yes, I shall call upon our next speaker, Dr. Dupender Kaur from India. Yes, Dr. Dupender Kaur, you can go live
Just
now.
a minute, ma'am, just a minute. Hello?
Yes.
There is some problem with my screen, sharing of the screen.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, it is here.
Okay.
Good evening to all the eminent pathologists, research scholars, keynote speakers, and I'm very thankful to the organizers to organize such a virtual conference during the times of pandemic. And I'll be speaking today on my research work, histopathological study of gallbladder malignancies with special reference to P53 expression. I'm Dr. Dupinder from India. Hello? Hello?
Yes, you can go on, Dr. Dupinder.
My screen is visible?
Yes, you are visible and you are also audible. You can go on. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So talking about the carcinoma of the gallbladder, carcinoma of the gallbladder overall is the most common cancer of the biliary tract and one of the highly malignant tumors with poor prognosis. It is the fifth most common gastrointestinal malignancy following colon, pancreas, stomach, and esophagus. Incidence increases with age. Almost 90% patients are older at the time of diagnosis. It is more common in females than males with a ratio of 3 to 4:1. The incidence of gallbladder parallels the prevalence of gallstone disease, large and long-standing gallstones being associated with a high risk of gallbladder cancer. The risk of gallbladder cancer in patients with gallstones has been reported to have increased 4 to 7 times by Tyagi et al. In 2008. The association between an abnormal pancreaticobiliary duct junction, a porcelain gallbladder, and other biliary disorders such as choledochal cyst, primary sclerosing cholangitis, Meniere's syndrome, and gallbladder cancer has also been recognized by Pandey et al. In 2003. The primary carcinoma of the gallbladder is an unexpected histopathological finding in 1 to 3% specimens after elective cholecystectomy for benign gallbladder disease. And the overall prognosis has remained dismal, with the 5-year survival of 5 to 10% cases due to the late detection of the disease. And prior to the era of ultrasonography and CT scanning, the rate of the correct preoperative diagnosis was only 8.6%, which has improved considerably to 75 to 88% with the use of the newer imaging techniques. But still, a preoperative diagnosis of early carcinoma of the gallbladder is seldom made, where the 5-year survival is 91 to 100%. So talking about the most common symptoms which we come across in the patients of the gallbladder, they are the right upper quadrant abdominal pain and anorexia. And the most common abnormal laboratory finding is elevated alkaline phosphatase level. So grossly, the gallbladder carcinoma presents as a diffusely growing in 70% cases or polypoidal mass in 30% cases. And the most common cancers, they originate from the fundus in the gallbladder. And mostly the gallbladders, they also contain calculi. 80 to 90% cases have been reported which come with calculi, and they exhibit marked fibrosis of the gallbladder wall. The fact that some gallbladder carcinomas are not obvious on gross examination indicates the need for microscopic examination of every excised gallbladder. Talking about microscopy of the gallbladder, mostly we come across 80 to 90% cases of gallbladder carcinoma, of adenocarcinoma, which can be further classified into papillary, tubular, mucinous, signet cell type, clear cell type, and the less common they include undifferentiated or anaplastic carcinomas 2 to 7%, squamous cell carcinoma 1 to 6%, and adenosquamous carcinoma 1 to 4%. The carcinoid tumors, small cell carcinomas, malignant melanomas, lymphomas, and sarcomas are reported very rarely. So in the search for prevention, diagnosis, and treatment of the cancer, the genetic changes involved in the origin of gallbladder carcinoma should be determined. Most studies have focused on mutations of oncogenes, KRAS or tumor suppressor gene P53, FHIT, P14, P16, and P63. So of all these alterations in the tumor suppressor gene, P53 is commonly observed in most human cancers. Talking about P53, the P53 gene, a tumor suppressor gene located on short arm of chromosome 17, encodes a 53 kilodalton nuclear phosphoprotein, which acts as an inhibitor of cell proliferation. Mutations in P53 gene are the most common genetic lesions found, which lead to gallbladder carcinoma. These mutations play a key role in the multi-step process that leads to carcinogenesis. Most mutations described are missense mutations, resulting in an abnormal protein that accumulates in cells by virtue of an increased half-life. These mutations are generally thought to alter the functional capabilities of the cell. These intranuclear accumulations are easily detected by immunohistochemistry. So overexpression of P53 is an important early event in gallbladder tumor formation and progression, and is reflected in the biological behavior and prognosis of the cancer. So the aim of my study was histopathological study of gallbladder malignancies with special reference to P53 expression. Material and method: a total of 80 histologically proven cases of gallbladder malignancies from January 2014 and December 2019, which were received in the Department of Pathology at SRMS IMS Bareilly, were included. All these histopathologically proven cases of gallbladder malignancies were examined for P53 expression immunohistochemically. So we applied the IHC on all these 80 cases which we received in our Department of Pathology. The procedure was followed as IHC was performed using mouse monoclonal primary antibodies for P53, using labeled streptavidin biodine peroxidase method. 3 to 4 micrometer thick sections after deparaffinization in xylene were rehydrated in graded alcohol. Antigen retrieval was done using microwave pretreatment in citrate buffer with pH 6. These sections were incubated with primary antibody for 1 hour at room temperature. After washing, the sections were treated with biotinylated secondary antibody for 30 minutes. A streptavidin HRP, that's horseradish peroxidase conjugate, was applied for 15 minutes. The reaction was visualized by using diaminobenzidine as chromogen, and the counter staining was done by Mayer's hematoxylin. And a positive control was used simultaneously. So how did we evaluate the P53 immunochemical staining on all our cases? We adopted a semi-quantitative scoring method as described by Vistuba et al. The intensity was graded as the following. Scoring was done by us. In cases which were we reported as absent, score 0, mild, score 1, moderate, score 2, intense, score 3. And simultaneously, we also did the percentage of the nuclei stained microscopically, and it was characterized as equal to or less than 5, score 0 was given, more than 5%, less than 10, score 1, 10 to 50%, score 2, more than 50%, score 3. And the staining score was obtained in the range of 0 to 6 by adding both variables, the intensity and the percentage of the nuclei stained. In this semi-quantitative method, a score more than or equal to 3 was considered as a positive overexpression of P53. So coming to our results, the present study included 80 cases of histopathologically proven cases of gallbladder malignancy. And in our study, it was observed that out of 80 cases of gallbladder malignancy, 30, that is 37.5 cases were P53 positive, and 50, that is 62.5, were P53 negative. This is a table showing number of the cases which were positive. This is the positive cases, and these are the negative cases. So in a similar study conducted by Gros et al. On 41 patients of histologically proven cases of gallbladder cancer, 29 showed P53 positivity. And Roa et al. In a study of 157 primary gallbladder carcinoma found P53 expression in 45% cases. In an Indian study conducted on 78 patients of gallbladder cancer by Chaube et al., P53 positivity was found only in 20% of the patients. So grading of the malignancy in adenocarcinoma. In our cases, 4 cases were well differentiated, 12 were moderately differentiated, and 14 cases were poorly differentiated out of the 30 cases. And in 53 negative cases showed 20 well differentiated cases, moderately differentiated cases were 42.9%, and 4 cases were poorly differentiated. This difference was found to be significant, that is 0.003. This suggests an inverse relationship between differentiation and P53 expression. Assuming that poorly differentiated tumors behave more aggressively, P53 expression may correlate with the aggressiveness of the disease. In a similar study by Roy et al. Of 191 cases of gallbladder malignancy, they observed increased P53 expression with grade of the tumor. A study by Ghosh et al. On 80 cases of gallbladder cancer also found that low-grade tumor that is well differentiated shows low expression of P53 in comparison to that in moderately differentiated, that is 62%, and poorly differentiated tumor only showed 66.7% cases. Now talking about the staging of the tumor, in our study, most of the tumor were in stage 3 and 4, as you can see in this table. Among the P53 negative patients, also more number of patients were in stage PT3, 3, 4, that is 26. These are 26 cases, total 72%, as compared to stage 1 and 2, which were only 4. P53 score showed no significant difference with the stage of tumor. According to a study conducted by Ghosh et al. On 80 patients of gallbladder cancer, 36 had stage 1 disease, and 40 cases had stage 2, and 4 cases had stage 4 disease. In a study conducted by Vistouba et al. In 52 cases of gallbladder cancer, 34 showed P53 expression, and no association was observed with correlation between P53 overexpression in gallbladder and stage of the tumor. These are the pictures showing the scoring method we applied. This is a micro photograph showing P53 score, and score 3 has been given. This is again a micro photograph of the staining, and it shows score 5. Here score 6 is given. So the conclusion of our study: out of 80 patients of gallbladder carcinoma evaluated for P53 overexpression was detected in 37.5% cases. There was statistically significant difference between the histological grade of P53 positive and P53 negative adenocarcinomas, with significantly higher number of patients of P53 overexpression presenting with poorly differentiated adenocarcinoma. The p-value was 0.003, and P53 overexpression showed inverse relationship with the grade of tumor in our study. So, however, P53 expression did not correlate with the depth of the tumor invasion or the stage of the tumor in our cases. These results may indicate that P53 has a role in gallbladder carcinogenesis and its progression of the cancer from low grade to high grade, but not in tumor invasiveness. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Dupinder Kaur, for your talk on the gallbladder malignancies and the findings of P53 and its inverse relationship with the grade of tumor and its role in cancerogenesis.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, the virtual platform is open for questions, and if anyone would like to ask, you can come forward for the questions. And Dr. Beatrice had extended her